All right, welcome back to the final episode, picks 21 of 32 in the LOS Draft Series. We're just going to get right into it. Philadelphia Eagles have the pick 21. There's some rumors about them wanting to trade up and take CeeDee Lamb, and if, Henry Ruggs and CeeDee Lamb are not there, or Jerry Jeudy is not there, that they're going to trade back. But I think that they're just going to stay put and take Denzel Mims here, wide receiver out of Baylor. I think he's got a lot of body control, which is really, this isn't an insult to Carson Wentz, but he's not necessarily the most accurate quarterback. And so a person like Denzel Mims, who can catch the ball when it's thrown anywhere, is really, really valuable. They lost Nelson Aguilar, which if you're an Eagles fan, you're probably thinking, thank God, but I mean, it's still a target that you lost. There was some trade rumors about Alshon Jeffrey, and so they're going to boost this offense, give Carson Wentz another target, and I think they've got an awesome young running back, and so this offense is going to be good for a long time when they snag Denzel Mims here.
All right, I have the Henry Ruggs here for the Eagles. And it's tough because obviously I like other players better. But I think the Eagles have tried those big receivers like Mims.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside last year.
I just think the Eagles look and they're like, oh, we need a speedster. And all of a sudden you see Ruggs still there for them, which I think is extremely possible. Because I think teams may wake up and see that he's not as good as Jeudy, Jefferson, or Lamb. And so you look and say, okay, and you give Carson Wentz a deep threat that he hasn't had. And I think it helps the Eagles a lot with Ruggs.
For sure.
Receiver, Bama.
All right, so pick 22. This was the Minnesota Vikings pick. This is from Buffalo after trading Stephon Diggs. Right here, I have them taking Cesar Ruiz, who's an interior offensive lineman out of Michigan. I think he primarily played center, and obviously they invested a first-round pick in a center last year. But Cesar Ruiz is athletic enough, and obviously to go to Michigan, which is the top public school in the nation, he's got to be fairly smart. So I'm sure he can play guard. I'm sure he can learn quick. And if you watched that playoff game, not the Saints one, the one against San Francisco, granted, like we said earlier, they had DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, the defensive rookie of the year, Dee Ford, and really just was full of pass rushers. But that offensive line could not protect Kirk Cousins. And so here, they're going to dress the game film and say, what's the reason we didn't advance? It was the offensive line, so they're going to invest first-round capital into the offensive line right here.
And I'm going to agree with that, but I'm going to go with Ezra Cleveland from Boise State. The rumors I've heard say that he is there, and I've watched a little bit of him, and he can move very well, and he's very fluid, and I think that he'll be able to go head-to-head with some of those best pass rushers in the league, and so I think that people are underlooking him, but I think he has the talent to on the outside to play some tackle for the Vikings.
All right, so pick 23, the New England Patriots. If you have not watched our last episode, go watch it and listen to what we say about Jordan Love, because this is another place where people think Jordan Love should go. But personally, New England has lost 70% of their defense, and 90% of that defense has gone to the division rival, the Dolphins. So they're going to boost this defense by taking inside linebacker Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma, add a little bit of leadership. I saw videos of his online interviews versus the Cowboys where he left them speechless because of how well he did.
That's interesting.
New England is going to take their linebacker of the future, Kenneth Murray, here with pick 23.
And I think the Patriots look and they say K'Lavon Chaisson is still there.
Oh.
And so I think that's perfect for them because he can just play everywhere on the line, and I want to see him be able to cover because he just played edge.
He could take a Cal Van Noy type.
I wonder if
cover and blitz.
I wonder if he can cover a little bit. I wonder if
any coach is good enough to figure that out, it's Bill Belichick.
I want to see if Chaisson can play in the Patriots system. Maybe the Patriots change systems. I don't know what the system are now, 4-3 or 3-4, but just to help Chaisson blitz off the edge because that's what he's amazing at. So Patriots get best available and go LSU linebacker/edge. K'Lavon Chaisson.
All right, 24. I'm not going to talk about Jordan Love again because this will be the third time. Saints fans, do not go in the comments talking to me about Jordan Love. Here, they're going to give Drew Brees, an older Drew Brees, another target with KJ Hamler, wide receiver out of Penn State. if you look at Michael Thomas's game film, he catches a lot of short balls and kind of turns it up. And for me, they're going to take KJ Hamler because he's another guy that can catch the ball and has awesome rack ability. So I think that they're just going to add to that offense. That second half of the playoff game where they lost against Minnesota, they needed another target. That's just quite simply how it was.
Because they're double teaming.
Exactly. They're going to need KJ Hamler to step up, and they're going to take him in the first round, and this will be their final shot before Drew Brees gets a little bit too old to win Drew Brees his second Super Bowl.
I think Hamler, I think his talent is definitely maybe first round, early second, but I think that he'll be there for the Saints in the second, as long as a lot of wide receivers, because this class is so deep. So they addressed the biggest problem, which I think is the middle of their defense, is linebacker, and then I go what you thought last time, and I go Kenneth Murray.
All right.
Because I think he can just play for the Saints in that position.
It's a good pick. All right, so pick 25, Minnesota lost Mike Hughes in free agency, who was a second-round pick out of Clemson not too long ago. They cut Xavier Rhodes, who got picked up by the Colts, and who else was that other corner they lost?
Did he go to the Bengals?
Might have. But I know that would have been Mike Hughes. Anyway.
Waynes?
Yeah, Trey Waynes. That's who it is. Trey Waynes and Mike Hughes and Xavier Rhodes all gone this year. So they need a corner. And right here is where they take Christian Fulton, who's a good physical man-to-man corner out of LSU. And right here, the Cowboys are actually thinking they're going to take Caleb Von Chasson at 17, and they're going to go, we can probably get, Christian Fulton early second round, trade up. So now the Cowboys are starting to get nervous because Christian Fulton's gone, and you will see what the Cowboys make a move later.
So, 25, Vikings. They have two of the biggest needs right now after they got Ezra Cleveland. They need a wide receiver to replace Diggs, and need another corner. And so with no corner left that, in my opinion, is first-round talent, maybe the kid from Auburn, I can't really say his last name, it's huge.
So you already have Christian Fulton gone, right?
At Cowboys.
And Jeff Gladney gone.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm looking and I'm like, if the Vikings want to reach, they can try to go the kid from Auburn, or they can go A.J. Terrell, but I just think A.J. Terrell is a second-round pick. So if they don't go A.J. Terrell, they go the most Stephon Diggs-like receiver with Denzel Mims.
That's a good pick.
He just catch radius is amazing, and he just reminds me of Diggs. He's not as fast yet, but honestly, that's kind of not true because he ran such a great 40, and he's like a sneaky fast.
Yeah,
I think
he
that's
just
what
runs
Diggs did too.
smooth. It doesn't look like he's sprinting super hard, but he'll blow right by any corner who kind of lets their guard down.
He needs to work on his route running, but other than that, he can be really great for the Vikings. So yeah, that's who I have. And they get a corner second round.
Pick 26, Miami Dolphins. This is where they're going to address the running back. J.K. Dobbins, in my opinion, is the best running back in the draft. Some people look at this pick and they'll be like, well, DeAndre Swift is the most pro-ready because J.K. Dobbins has had some injury. Obviously, you cannot ignore Jonathan Taylor's amazing production. But Miami Dolphins are going to take J.K. Dobbins, who to me kind of reminds me of a little bit slower Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah,
Not even really
that
much slower. But he's fast, he's strong, he's agile. Against Clemson, he had a really good game. And J.K. Dobbins is really just an awesome pick. I don't think they're comfortable with Kellen Ballage or Patrick Lard, or how do you say it, Laird, starting at running back this season. So they're going to draft J.K. Dobbins to start as their franchise running back. Kind of like what the Raiders did last year with Josh Jacobs, taking him with their third first-round pick.
Yeah, that makes sense. Except I think that the Dolphins have 14 picks, and there's 3 great running backs.
That's true.
After J.K. Dobbins, so it's Dobbins, Edwards-Helaire, Swift, and Taylor, and they're all pro-ready. And then there's more. I think this running back class is like very sneaky.
There's a lot of
depth.
fourth-round talent, like the 2017 draft.
I honestly like this running back class a lot, and so I think they say, okay, we'll get one in the second round, and they go best available with A.J. Espinosa and help out their rush with the kid from Iowa.
It's a good pick. So right here, Seattle is notoriously known for trading out of the first round.
Can I talk about this one?
You want to start it?
I need to start this one.
All right, start it.
As a very big Seattle fan, at first, obviously being young, I was very naive, and I hated every year We traded back in the first round. And looking back at it, with the picks we've made, it makes sense because a lot of the players that were picked in the first round have not turned out to be very good.
For example, who did you take last year? The Deanna.
LJ Collier.
Yeah.
He still has a chance.
Not writing him off yet. Obviously, if you guys know anything about our policy here at Latest on Sports, we're never going to tell a player what they can't do, what they won't do, and what they're not capable of doing.
But he didn't have any production at all.
Yeah.
And that's also because Clowney and Ansah.
Yep.
But anyway, he just didn't get a lot. And so I think with Seattle, they just have a tendency of doing the same thing every year, and they've done it every year since 2012. And even the years that they don't move back, they still pick second and third round talent. Take Rashard Penny and LJ Collier.
Yep.
I still like both those picks. I like Penny. I think he can really take off this year. And so the Seahawks do the same thing again. And so with me, I was trying to figure out who would want to do that. And the Rams make sense because they don't have a first-round pick and they don't have a running back, and so they could easily swoop in and take one. But between divisions, I just don't see that ever happening. The Seahawks don't want to give the Rams a good running back. And so the Bears also don't have a first-round pick. So the Bears come in and they help their edge, and they take Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State, the DN.
Pick.
And I think that can give the Bears some
They
more
lost
pass
Leonard
rush.
Floyd.
On the other side, because they lost Leonard
Keem
Floyd.
Hicks is getting old.
So that on the other side of Khalil Mack, they can get another pass rusher.
For sure. So for me, this is kind of the same idea as the Redskins trading with the Colts last year. The Redskins gave the Colts their second-round pick in the year of the draft, and then the next year's second-round pick. So here, this is the Green Bay Packers jumping the Baltimore Ravens to draft Patrick Queen. The Packers lost Blake Martinez in free agency, and so Seattle is going to get a round 2 and a round 5 this year and a second next year.
Yeah, makes sense.
This is also kind of like the Eagles jumping the Texans last year to get their tackle, Dalton Reisner. And so this is kind of a combination of two ideas from last year's draft, of a team kind of getting that extra first-round pick and jumping a team that would take the player that they need. So the Green Bay Packers are going to jump the Baltimore Ravens and take Patrick Queen, linebacker at LSU.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So moving on to the Ravens pick and the next pick, the Rams say, okay, Seattle, you don't want to trade with us? They give the Ravens a great deal. The Rams come in and they take Jonathan Taylor, who I love Jonathan Taylor. I think that Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the draft, just because his overall game is so smooth and nice, and his ability to find holes and go is just amazing.
Combine was amazing.
I think he could help the Rams a lot. So yeah, I have the Rams trading with the Ravens and picking Jonathan Taylor.
So at 28, the Baltimore Ravens go, well, shoot, we need an inside linebacker, or just really a linebacker in general. They don't really need any edge rusher. They signed Derek Wolfe. They traded for Calais Campbell, and they brought back Judon on a franchise tag. So right here, Baltimore is going to take Malik Jefferson, kind of a reach.
But Harrison.
Why did I say Jefferson? Yeah, Malik Harrison, linebacker out of Ohio State.
Just take who they like then.
Yeah, and
makes sense.
This is the idea that the Texans were last year when they got jumped by the Eagles. They just kind of reached on a tackle on Titus Howard, and so that's what the Ravens are going to do. They don't really want to take Malik Harrison in the first round, but it's a position of need, and Patrick Queen and Kenneth Murray are off the board, going at 27 and 23 respectively. So they're going to take Malik Harrison. So at 29, as I alluded to earlier about the Cowboys, they were getting a little bit concerned when Christian Fulton went.
But who's at 29 right now for you?
Oh, the Titans. You're right. The Cowboys will trade with the Titans to move back in to the first round. Tennessee will receive a 2 of 5, a 2 and a 5, and then a 4 next year. Right here, the Cowboys are going to select a defensive back, Grant Delpit, who is the best defensive back on the board, obviously with the absence of Byron Jones, who actually started out playing safety and then moved to corner. So maybe Delpit can make that adjustment, but obviously Delpit is not as athletic as Byron Jones was coming out of college. So I think the Cowboys are going to trade with the Titans. Titans sitting here like, hey, let's just collect some extra picks. None of our position of need is really here. So the Cowboys are going to move up and take defensive back Grant Delpit out of LSU.
And the Titans, for me, they don't trade. They stay where they are. And they could either, because they lost Jarrell Casey, so maybe they go Neville Gallimore, but I don't think Neville can fill that role. So I think they just take the best line available that they can get. And that's Joshua Jones from Houston. I think he's versatile, and you can move him around. So that's where I got him.
All right, so number 30, the Green Bay Packers have their second first-round pick in 4 picks. And right here, they're going to take wide receiver Michael Pittman out of USC. Michael Pittman, in my opinion, is the closest Michael Thomas receiver in the draft. You look at his stats, I think it was 8 or 9 out of 13 games. He had 6+ receptions. I think 4+ games, he had 10+ receptions. And
Very
Michael
good.
Pittman really did well against ranked opponents and big schools. And so the Green Bay Packers are going to not necessarily add a speedster, but somebody who can play alongside of Devontae Adams, and they're going to get Michael Pittman.
Where'd you have Rager?
What did I have him? Pick 19 to the Las Vegas Raiders.
So I have him going and falling to the Packers at 30 because the Packers have right now a bunch of great route runners, but they're all tall. They're not necessarily speedy. And so that's where I think Jalen can add the deep threat for them and help Aaron Rodgers get some more just speed in that wide receiver depth. So, yep.
At pick 31, we have the San Francisco 49ers. Right here, they're going to draft safety out of Alabama, Xavier McKinney, just to add more to that secondary. At the end of the Super Bowl, they kind of just got toasted by Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. So right here, they're going to add an awesome, talented safety who can stop the run and play excellent coverage, and this is just going to boost their defense. They took offense earlier in my draft at 13, took CeeDee Lamb, and now they're going to address the defensive side of the ball with Xavier McKinney.
The Niners are really in an interesting spot. They can add depth at wide receiver, safety, or D-line because they lost Buckner. So I just had 3 players that I think are options for them. They have Neville Gallimore, the D-line from Oklahoma. They have where was Gallimore from? Yeah, I swear it's Oklahoma.
No, it's not. It's like TCU, I think.
That's Blacklock.
That's right.
No, it's definitely
Maybe
Oklahoma.
it's Oklahoma.
So they have him. They have LaVisca Chenault or KJ Hamler. That could help out. I think LaVisca would fit them, or Michael Pittman as well. It's just tough, whatever they really want. Or Colin Johnson, but that would be really early.
Yeah.
And then for safety, I think the best for the Niners right now, and I think this is the one that makes the most sense for me. When you said McKinney, I just thought safety, and then I think what would be a great dime or nickel safety for them? And it'd be Antoine Winfield Jr. from Minnesota. I think that would be perfect for them. He can play anywhere. He can even play man coverage when he wants. And obviously, it wouldn't make any sense for them in my draft to get Winfield and C.J. Henderson in the same draft because they got both. But it's something to look at. Maybe they do get that. But the one that makes sense the most is either Winfield or I think Gallimore, just because to give more depth inside the D-line.
For sure. So I agree with you that they need a DB, but you already had Xavier McKinney going earlier. So right here, since Xavier McKinney is there at 31, they're just going to take it. So with the final pick of the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to select Cameron Dantzler, quarterback out of Mississippi State. I have him a lot higher, a lot higher than most people. He reminds me of Rock Yassin. A little bit lengthy, can stick his nose in there and make plays on the football. Also can play the run fairly well. This is an awesome pick. And the Cowboys are sitting here thank God we traded up, because they were banking on maybe a Christian Fulton or a Cameron Dantzler being there early second round, maybe trading with the Colts, because they have the second pick in the second round, and the Colts obviously like to trade back. So they already took Grant Delpit, so they're thankful that they traded up, and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to conclude day 1 of the NFL draft with Cameron Dantzler.
Again, for the Chiefs, I'm giving just a bunch of different players they can draft. They have Watkins, or did they lose Watkins?
No, Watkins is back. They lost. No, they actually signed back to Marcus Robinson too.
I mean, if they... they could definitely go running back.
They could. That's true.
They have a great running back. They could also go another O-line. You can never be set at O-line. They can go Grant Delpit. Like, they can just go anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing with
Imagine
these teams.
Tyrann Mathieu and Delpit. That's
Both
two
were number seven at LSU. That would be dirty.
That
That
would be dirty,
fun
but
to
I just
watch.
don't think that's happening. For mine, though, I just finished off with Cesar Ruiz from Michigan just because he could
Good
play
pick.
anywhere. Great depth. And so, with this wrapped up, we there's some points. I just saw Bleacher Report came out with some rumors, and I also have some other points. So, just going back in the draft, the Redskins will not trade back into the first round because they just don't have a second round pick. So I don't think anyone would want to do that. The Raiders, I think they should trade up because they do not have a second round pick. They should trade into the second round using their third round picks and get, because there's some really good second round linebackers. Kid from App State, Hakeem Gathers, Troy Dye, or Matabuke.
Logan Wilson.
Yes.
Wyoming.
Yes. That's another one. Or there's another one as well. But there's a lot of linebackers the Raiders could get. And finally, I think the Dolphins, ideal for them would Laviska or Rager, which probably Rager will be gone. But if the Dolphins can get Delpit in the second round and Rager, they'll have and that's very low chance. But
Yeah.
if those players fall, that'd be a great draft. So
I actually had the Dolphins getting Delpit at 26
Yeah, that makes
at
sense.
first, and then I switched it to Dobbins. So that's
It could
definitely a
happen.
possibility. If they get
It
Delpit
fits
to
well.
replace Rashad Jones, watch out because this team might actually be pretty good.
Okay, so just some rumors from Bleacher Report that I just came across. Georgia's Andrew Thomas, the first offensive tackle off the board.
Ooh,
That's what you have at
I had him
6.
at number 2.
Okay,
the
yeah,
second
that works.
tackle. But
When we were in marketing class, we were looking at Andrew Thomas and saying, how is this guy not the first offensive
I
tackle?
know, and some people like mocks
And there you
have
go,
it going
people
like
are-
the 20s. I'm
People
like,
are
no.
realizing this, so that's huge. I like Thomas a lot. He
Yeah.
can play. He's got a lot of accolades
Accolades.
from
There's no
at
you,
Georgia. I know.
accolades.
Okay, rumor number 2. Florida cornerback C.J. Henderson, a top 10 pick. I have him at 13.
I have him at 12, so we're close.
Very close. And obviously rumors get changed so much, and
Yeah.
they could be bluffs, but that'd be interesting. Rumor number 3, which
I think what they're thinking about C.J. Henderson
you can
is if Jacksonville doesn't trade back, that's an interesting pick for him.
yeah, really.
Because
I
they
think
don't have
Jaguars-
Boye, they don't have Ramsey, so I think that's probably the rumor.
C.J. Henderson just fits the Jags well. Fast from the SEC conference. They
Yep.
love those guys. Rumor number 3, which we've been saying for a while, Miami Dolphins want Oregon quarterback Justin Herbert.
Yeah, we
High
said
five.
this a month and a half ago. I said this 3 months ago, so
Oh my gosh, Jake. You won't believe
What?
this next one. The Falcons and the Broncos want to trade up, and that's what I have.
wow, yeah, you have that
No
exact
way.
trade.
That's awesome. I love when you get stuff right.
Me too.
No, so the Falcons want to trade up, and that'd be dirty.
I had the Falcons trading up, did not have the Broncos.
Look at
trading
this.
up.
It says the Falcons for a cornerback or a defensive tackle, which I have Derek Brown,
Yep.
and Broncos for wide receiver, which I have. So that's awesome. And then the one that we've been calling again for a month, Tua is falling in the first round.
Wow.
How far though?
So if you guys paid any attention,
You didn't
to
have
my
Tua in
draft,
here, did you?
Tua Tagovailoa did not go in the first round.
I don't
in
know
my
about
draft.
that. If he fell to the Raiders would totally take him just to sit behind Carr. You know,
Maybe, but
they have bigger needs though.
so
you know?
yeah. Here's the deal with Tua. Go watch our video, then pause this video. Make sure you write down the time so you know where to come back. But Tua is obviously extremely talented, but 5 injuries in 13 months, 3 surgeries in 13 months is not a winning recipe for a franchise quarterback, and he should be a day 3 pick, probably early day
That's
3.
a lot. That's so deep because he has talent.
He has ridiculous
That's right, I
amounts of
disagree with
talent,
you there.
But
I think the injuries are a deep concern though. Okay, just some more news around the NFL draft. Okuda might be dropping, but I think that's just a bluff because he played so well. But people are liking C.J. Henderson.
yeah,
I'm nervous about his tackling. He's not the best tackler.
Sometimes
he can make plays, but
it was in the what game? I think it was in the Auburn game where he was playing. I don't know if it was man or zone, but he didn't have a safety over top, and his eyes were
that
in the
was really
backfield.
confusing. I saw that last night.
Wide receiver just ran right over.
I
him,
think he thought he was in a different. Maybe he thought there was a safety over top.
I
so
don't
that was
know,
weird.
but I mean,
That's definitely watch out. But it's just one play, you know,
Yeah.
so can't hold everything against him.
exactly.
One thing that corresponded with my draft was Ezra Cleveland is getting a lot of recognition. I had him 2020, actually 22 to the Vikings because I feel like the teams behind him are starting to gain notice too, so they might take him. So the Vikings take 22 Ezra and then 25 Mims. And, oh yeah, the tight ends. This tight end isn't, it's weird, you know? It's weird to see.
Yeah,
There's some good ones, honestly.
So right now, I mean, our draft is concluded, but we're just going to give you some good old draft rumors and opinions. Personally, Harrison Bryant is my favorite tight end in the draft. He comes from a smaller conference, but 1,000 receiving yards. Obviously, ridiculously talented. I'm going to keep referencing the combine because I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
In the blocking drill,
The weird new blocking
there
drill.
was like Jared Pickney figured out how to block and Harrison Bryant, and that was about it.
That was
and
it.
the Stanford tight end, I can't remember his name.
Colby Parkinson.
He could block, but like everybody else,
Everybody else were
foreign
so
to.
weird. And it was a new
Yeah, it was new.
drill and
They
new
had to take
equipment.
the plates off the back of them because it was too heavy. And
Yeah, it was new, but it's still players should be able to adapt. And the coach was telling them get low, and they weren't. No one was doing it
they
except those.
just rise straight up and put in like pitter patter their hands. So that's something interesting.
Because you're not gonna block like that. Like that's not
Yeah,
realistic.
Especially if you have to come down across on a trap play and block a defensive end. You think you're gonna be able to block
Yeah,
pitter pattering like you're boxing? No way.
Got to get low. Yeah, is that it? I think we're good.
I think that's all. So thank
we're
you
gonna
guys.
be coming up with what's it called? Sleepers from each
Yep.
position. That's gonna be really interesting. I have a lot of guys that
Me
people
too.
are not thinking of.
Tomorrow we are actually interviewing our first former NFL player who is currently an NFL coach. Just recently hired. That episode's gonna be awesome tomorrow. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, if you like the video, leave us a like rating, comment anything that you think that we got wrong or that you think we got right, because we'd love to respond to your comments. We're not going to be D-bags about it and debate you and tell you you're wrong unless you think Tua should go in the first round and I'm the one that's commenting. Then I'll probably tell you you're wrong. But we'd love to talk with you guys. We'd love to hear your guys' rumors about the draft and what you guys think is going to happen. So be sure, if you've got anything to say, leave it in the comments. Any video suggestions, any player profiles, any sleepers that you think. Leave really anything in the comments. We'll get back to you. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Bring back NCAA so we can play with these guys. 'Cause
Exactly.
I really want to.
Exactly. Now that you've heard that for the third time today, just thank you guys for
Do it.
tuning in. Get ready for the draft on Thursday. Gonna be
Ah.
awesome.